archive. They were concerned about archiving and privacy and security. So as long as I could show them that I can archive all of the conversations or messages or chats that we have together, I can show them the settings to show how to make the groups private, and how at the end of the class I have to remove the students and I leave myself and an administrator so that we've archived the entire group. All of the events and content stay within the group. So that was their biggest concern, was could I show that I can get the same level of archiving, reporting, and security in Facebook that I could do in Blackboard. And what I was able to show was it's actually more flexible, it's more plastic, and that I can get better data from Facebook. So the big concerns, again, would have been security. But as long as I am able to show them how I can keep the group secure, and then I have to let the students know how these are their choices for security levels, you know, they were okay with it and they let it run.
Okay, great, thanks. And Donna, thanks for that question. We have one more question here from Kathy Strebel. I think that's how you say it. Yeah. So let's see. She's asking, are the students traditional age, or is the class mix varied? Do you provide a Facebook tutorial before class begins?
Okay, my students are a real mix. So I have people as young as 15 and 16, and I have students who are, I'm not making this up, 80. So they all know how to use Facebook. The more interesting part is even my ESL students who come in, even the ones coming in from China, even though it's banned there supposedly, they're already well versed with how Facebook works, which makes it so much easier when I start the class, because I don't have the difficulty of trying to bring someone up to speed on how to use a course management system, which is less intuitive and also something they don't use, you know, daily in their real lives. I do have a tutorial. I have screen captures because we use a lot of the advanced features, and so I have a lot of screen captures that walk them through different features with examples of how we'll be using it. But although those materials are available in our files area, I actually introduce them as we get to each different activity. I don't try to overwhelm them at once with everything we do. What I mostly do right up front is make sure they know how to, oops, sorry about that. Hi, Candace. Okay. Go ahead, Candace, you can ask your question on that. That's fine. Let me go back to this one. Yes, I just show them the security. I think that's the most important thing, and I also offer to Skype them. So will do one-on-one Skypes, and I do that with the social media class as well, on how to do their settings.
Does Candace really have a question there for us?
It says she's typing. I don't know yet. She hasn't sent it, so...
Okay. I can still see it on your screen, just so you know.
I guess you changed her mind. It's saying now typing. That's okay, Candace. You can do it.
Thank you for your question, Kathy.
There it is. Yes, I do list that they do have to have either a smartphone or a tablet or a computer with a camera. It's part of the required materials for my online course. So yes. If they don't have a camera, they just have to know somebody who has one. So they can have a friend who can film them, and that's usually what they do. So, and I do have embedded tutors, and they're available in 2 physical locations. So students that are local can always go in and work with the embedded tutors as well. So I try to have as many resources as possible.
I think that's cool that she asked her question that way.
See, that just goes to show you how awesome this is. If we were in Blackboard, she wouldn't have been able to do that.
Okay, great. Terrific.
So I want to see how you use VoiceThread now.
Okay, yeah. Let me go ahead and, you want to stop screen sharing, and I'll go ahead and get my stuff ready.
I can get my screen back. Uh-oh, why am I stuck? Okay, there we go.
Okay, let me...
I think I'm back. Yes.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to share with you folks. Oops. Okay, I was going to try to clear up my bookmarks, but that's all right. I'm going to share, so in my class, my students have about 14 voice threads that they participate over the course of the semester. And what I have found in the many years that I've used VoiceThread is a couple of things. First of all, I found that the voice comments in the voice thread, students really benefit a lot from being able to hear each other. But there's also an incredible amount of reluctance from students to participate in voice. And that's something that I struggled with for many years because I really like the idea of giving students a choice. As we've already touched upon, that's a really valuable principle of universal design for learning. You know, students learn in, I shouldn't say students, humans learn in different ways. Each of our brains is wired differently. And so it's a real benefit when we're designing the learning environment when we can create an activity and give a learner a choice to essentially leave a comment or participate in one way or another. So I really like that idea, but at the same time, at the end of my classes, when I would survey my students, I had these two reoccurring themes semester after semester. I would hear students say, I love hearing my peers' voices, and I love hearing your voice. And then I would also hear all these comments from students who would say, thank you so much for not making us talk. And I was really torn about that because I thought, I went through and I did an analysis and I realized that I only had about a quarter of my students who were willingly leaving voice comments. So 3/4 of my students were never touching the voice or video comment. They were just using text. And I thought, we got to get over this. We've got to improve this voice percentage. So I changed something in my class, and that's kind of what I'm showing you right now. I redesigned my class, and I started my class a couple of years ago with a new icebreaker, and that's what you're looking at here. And instead of starting my class with a voice thread activity where they actually go in and they read an assignment and they go in and they leave comments and they get assessed on them, we had a different kind of icebreaker before, but now we have an icebreaker in voice thread where they are actually required to participate in voice or video in the very first week of the class. And you might be thinking, well, that's a mean thing to do, and that completely undercuts everything that you just said about choice. But I'm going to share some data with you in a few minutes, and I want you to see what the impact that this has had on students. And I think it's actually pretty powerful. So this is the icebreaker. The intent of this icebreaker is it's multiple. I want them to get comfortable with using VoiceThread, and I want them to have a positive experience with leaving a voice or a video comment. And I want them also to start to see the value of the history of photography. This is a history of photography class. But I want them to make this kind of relevant connection between the curriculum and their everyday life. So that's kind of underhanded of me. I'm doing this without them realizing it. So I'm going to click on these thumbnails down in the lower right corner and zoom out so you can see these are all the slides in the voice thread. So there's lots of them. And the first row and a half of